Howdy folks, welcome to the channel Rockin' the Country. I'm Don. I do non-pop country music reactions and occasionally a review, but by and large, the music I react to and listen to is stuff I've not heard before, so that makes it a reaction. If I've heard it once before, I call it a review, at least once before. Gary Stewart's Out of Hand. I don't know this song, and I also do Western, folk, Cajun, bluegrass, red dirt, and all that, but Gary Stewart is really just more in the traditional line, and I love traditional country. It's my thing. It runs deep. It's intellectual. It's insightful. It's just the stereotypes about traditional country and country music generally are so off base, and I found that out. Happily found that out because I have those stereotypes from decades ago. But anyway, Trent Smith made a gift to the channel for me to do this one, and Trent asked me who my favorite artist is. Now, firstly, I want you to know that Trent Smith is only 17 years old. He's out in Indiana, Fishers to be exact, and I've been to Fishers, Indiana, but I haven't been out there in over a decade. But I spent quite a bit of time there. I had friends who lived right, what is it, right off of, is it 69 up there or 67? Right off there. It's not 37 at that point. 37 takes you down to Bloomington, and I've spent a lot of time in Bloomington too. But he's only 17, loves traditional country music, and most kids nowadays are listening to rap or something else, and or pop country, Nashville country, and Trent's into the traditional country. The answer to your question, Trent, my favorite artists are probably still Miranda has songs that hit me real deep. More of her songs hit me real deep than most other artists, so I'm still going to put her there. But Waylon and Dwight are right up there. And I don't want to say replaced her because I don't like to categorize them as such, but thanks to my exposure to Dwight, he's a philosopher, he's unique. He just is different and he's good. And Waylon is as cool as they get. So those are pretty safe bets right there. My favorite song of all time, though, is a classical music piece by Bach. It's called Air. And that transports me every time I hear it. I've heard it 500 times in my life, probably, or whatever the number is. And every single time I'm taken elsewhere. But as far as our favorite artists go, I just named the three right now, country artists. So let's get into Gary Stewart's song, Out of Hand. I can't even imagine what this song is about. That title doesn't lead me in any direction other than when someone gets out of hand and then somebody kicks their ass to straighten them out. Or, they get sent to their room if they're a kid. I don't know. Nice.
Never intended to even know your name, except for the woman waiting at home. They've all been the same. I've always been true, except for you. Not even a one-night stand, and I never intended to get so out of hand.
Can't take it back.
Out of hand, out of hand. I'm a hard-living kind of a man. Need more to keep me going than this gold-wedding band. You're my kind of woman. I'm your kind of man. Maybe that's the reason it got so out of hand.
Well, he's not feeling bad about it. That was a nice transition.
I never intended for it to go this far. I don't think I can get off from where we are. Some time to waste to get so out of hand. Out of hand, out of hand. I'm a hard-living kind of a man. I need more to keep me going than this gold wedding band. You're my kind of woman, and I'm your kind of man.
I like that voice.
Maybe that's the reason it got so out of hand.
He doesn't feel bad.
Out of hand, out of hand. I'm a hard-living kind of a man. I need more to keep me going.
Well, I wonder what his vows were then. If his vows didn't say that he'd need more than the wedding band, then he's breaking his vows. He's clearly doing that anyhow, but for him to be, he doesn't feel bad right now. And, you know, relationships dissolve. I get it. And they dissolve in different ways. And who knows what she's doing? We don't get the backstory on this thing. And maybe she's also having her, maybe she'd sing the exact same song he's singing. Maybe she's got somebody on the side too. I don't know. I don't recommend this. I don't justify it. I think it's an extraordinarily bad way of going about things. Damaging, hurtful, regretful. But he's not experiencing regret. He's like, I need more than this old wedding band. But he didn't give us any more than that, other than he's the kind of man that just needs more excitement. Well, you know, the only fair thing to do is to not get married in the first place. That's the way you do it. And after the fact, it's easier to say, because then you're in a marriage and then you find out that it's just boring. Whatever, she may have let herself go, you may have let yourself go. It, you know, back and forth, and you both kind of lose interest and it becomes boring. But there are relationships where there's a lot of love between them and someone still steps out because they get caught up in a moment, but they have regrets about it. And it still may end in divorce. Cheating frequently does, as we know. Not always. You know, women and men will take their spouse back. I think women will take a guy back more readily than a guy will take a woman back. And do with that what you will. But in this song, he doesn't feel bad. There's no regrets about it. I need more than what you're giving me. But he didn't say what you personally, what his wife is giving him. He needs more than what a wedding band can give him. He doesn't like the strictures of marriage. He doesn't like that. And he'd only been faithful to his wife, but then he discovered, and we didn't know how long that, maybe it only lasted a week. Maybe it lasted 15 years. But then he had some things in common with this one woman, and he wanted the excitement that his marriage couldn't provide. And the woman that cheated with him might have been like, hey, he's a married man. And that's a turn on to a lot of women. You know, there's a certain measure of stability. It sort of projects a certain measure of success in different ways, not necessarily financial, but sometimes people read into it that way. And relationship-wise, there's a certain measure of understanding a woman that is assumed a man has when he's been married or is married, and there's an attraction there. And then these two, he apparently likes her, but for how long? Now, these are the questions, you know, and I'm not going to put this in the marital counseling playlist, but man, am I tempted to consider doing that, Trent. You know, I think it was Mark Twain who said it's easier to stay out than to get out. And if you think of that quote, it's just easier to stay out of something than getting out of it once you're into it. You've already wired your psyche in a certain way to looking for that given thing. You know, you've sort of given yourself a bone, and then you go back to it. So it's just a whole lot easier to never start smoking than to quit. For example, love Gary's voice. Love the instrumentation in this song. The storyline caught me. It's the only song I've heard where The guy said, here's what's happened. I've only been faithful to you. Things got out of hand, but you know what? I don't feel bad about it. And he didn't shove it in her face. I don't know. Yeah, but the instrumentation was good. I mean, I don't know what you call them, but there are certain phrases on the guitar and the tones and the notes that were hit were just different and very pleasing to the ear and very appropriate to the song. It just sort of moved the song away around in different ways. The producer did a heck of a job on this. But Gary's voice, I really like Gary's voice in this song. Uniquely appropriate. You know, if Waylon sang this song, it would be like, kind of in your face, because he's got that badass, Bakersfield attitude and mentality. So even if he sang the same lyrics, you'd be like, I don't know, that's Waylon. He's kind of a badass. But Gary sang it with the sensitivity that was different. And I really like that. It's uniquely appropriate, as I said. So, Trent, I'm going to rate this song. It's a hell of a choice. Man, very unique. I love unique. I do not like cliche, as you guys know. I can't stand cliche. Probably why I like traditional country, because the storylines are rarely cliche. But the number that struck me on this was a 9.5. That's a hell of a song right there. So that goes in the playlist of songs of 9 and above. So there we have it. All right, guys, you can thank 17-year-old. I guess you're a senior in high school, Trent. A senior in high school in Fishers, Indiana, made a gift request for us to hear this song. So give him some special love, some, shout out, post, because he's carrying the torch of the future fandom of the youth of America. So there you go. I encourage you to, when you go to college, assuming you do, Trent, take some courses on management, on professional management, like being an agent or a manager, if your university has that. Take it, all right? Because you might be the guy to carry the torch there too. All right, guys, have a great day. I'll see you in another video. Keep rocking the country.